الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We will start our lesson today. It is lesson 3, unit 5. Did you bring your pupils book, Flying High, level 1? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Let's start here. What can you see here in this picture? We have notes of Saudi riyals. So we will talk about money, the world of money. Let's watch this video, then we will complete our discussion.
The story of money. Imagine living a long time ago, in a time without money. How about 9,000 BC? Instead of money, there was swapping, also known as bartering. It worked like this.
Want to swap this apple for an orange?
Yes. I want a cow. You want some wheat?
But there were problems with this. The items needed to be of a similar value.
How about swapping this apple for that DVD?
No way, that's not fair.
The other problem was that many items would go rotten and so didn't keep their value. And some were too heavy to even carry. It started to get even more complicated when people began using gifts like perfume, jewellery and other valuable goods.
You want this perfume for that necklace?
I don't like the smell of it, no.
However, in China, they had started using cowrie shells as money. So instead of swapping things for other things, you could buy the things you wanted with shells. But no one in the West knew about this, because back then there was no social media, internet, TV, or telephone to communicate. So what did they try in the West? They started to use items that were not perishable, items that wouldn't break or get easily damaged. Gold. But gold was too heavy to keep on you and carry around. But what if it was a little smaller? In 200 AD, coins of precious metals were made. They were small, which made them easier to carry around. To make things even easier, the coins were weighed and stamped so everyone knew how much they were worth. People started to give their gold coins to the goldsmith to look after and keep them safe.
Can you look after my gold for me, please?
Yes. Here's your £10 receipt.
These receipts were the earliest types of banknotes. They have developed and now they are no longer linked to gold.
Do you see? What can we understand from this video? That before they don't have any kind of these things that we call it today money as the coins and the money. They only exchange things to take the others. Okay, let's play with each other. Coins or notes that have value for buying things. Start with M, it's money. Money that a person receives for work. Start with S, we call it salary. Around flat pieces of metal used to buy things, started with C, it is, or they are, coins. Paper money, start with N, notes. A place that makes coins and notes, we call it mint. It's a place. to have value, to be worth, and to give money in exchange for work or products, to pay. Let's use these words to know what are the meanings. From 1 to 7, I will read it. Money, salary, coins, notes, mint, to be worth, to pay. The meanings are: A, around the flat pieces of metal used to buy things. B, a place that makes coins or notes to give money in exchange for work or products. D, money that a person receives for work. E, coins or notes that have value for buying things. F, paper money. G, to have value. Let's see for money. How can we define it? We can say E, coins or notes that have value for buying things. What about salary? We can say D, definition, money that a person receives for work. Coins, round flat pieces of metal used to buy things. It is A. Notes, paper money. Mint, it is B, a place that makes coins and notes. To be worth, it is G, to have value. And to pay, it is C, to give money in exchange for work or products. Here, to be more obvious for you, 1 is E, 2 is D, 3 is A, 4 is F, 5 is B, 6 is G, 7 is C. Let's see here. It is a listening. I want from you to listen, then tell me if it is true or false.
Unit 5, Lesson 3.
Today we're talking about the history of money. First, does anybody know where the word money comes from? No? Well, it's from Roman times. About 2,500 years ago, the Romans built a mint, or a factory for making money, next to a building called the moneta. People called the coins made in the factory moneta.
So money comes from the Latin word moneta?
That's right. But moneta referred only to coins. The Romans didn't have paper money. Now, what about the phrase, he isn't worth his salt?
Well, salt sounds a little like salary.
Yes, that's right. Before the Romans had coins, they used to pay people with salt. Salt was very valuable in those days. It was called salarium in Latin. So that's where we get our word salary.
Wow, I wouldn't like to be paid in salt. So if we say a person isn't worth his salt, we mean he isn't a good worker, right?
Right. He isn't worth his salt means he isn't worth his salary. Now, I'd like you to read this article on the history of money.
So here, when we read the first one, the word salary comes from the verb sell. We will know if it is true or false. The expression he isn't worth his salt means he isn't respected because he doesn't do his job well. Both of them, they are false. The next one, the Roman mint made coins and notes. The Romans used to pay people with salt. One student in the class says he would like to be paid in salt, the students are going to read an article about money. Here, the first one is true. Sorry, the first one is false. The second one is true. The third one is false. And the fourth one is true. Here, the history of money, I will read it with you. Listen, then we can answer some questions. There haven't always been coins and notes, many as we know it. In ancient times, people used objects to trade for things they needed. For example, 5,000 years ago, the Chinese were using knives and rice and as money because these things were very valuable. Then, about nearly 3,000 years ago, people started making coins out of gold, silver, and other metals. That was in the area of Asia we now call Turkey, and also in China about 2,500 years ago. The Romans built a mint for making coins for hundreds of years. People only used coins, but coins were heavy and it was dangerous to travel with a lot of gold and silver. So finally, paper money was invented. The first paper money was used in China around the year 810. Europeans started using it in about 1000. Of course, not everyone had paper money or coins at that time. In 1600, Native Americans were still using beads and furs as money. In 1624, they traded the island of Manhattan to the Dutch for goods worth $24 at today's value. Let's see here. We have the words. We want to explain these two words. Then we want to make it. We want to arrange these sentences according to the chronicle time. So these are beads and fur. Let's see here. Put these sentences in the correct historical order. Then read the article, okay. Now, when we want to say which one is the first one, it is the Chinese used knives and rice as money. This is for the first sentence. The second one will be Asians started using coins. Then the Romans built a mint for making coins. Native Americans used beads and furs as money. The Chinese invented paper money, and Europeans started using paper money. This is for the order of these sentences according to the historical order. This one, to be obvious for you, 1 with B, 2 with C, 3 with A, 4 with F, 5 with D, 6 with E. Right. Here we have 4 questions concerning with this also reading. We want to answer it. The first one. In ancient times, how did people pay for things? Where did people begin to make and use coins? 3. Why did people begin to use paper money? 4. Who bought Manhattan Island from the Native Americans? We will discuss the answers now. For the first one, in ancient times, how did people pay for things? Number 1, in ancient times, people used objects to trade for things they needed. Number 2, Where did people begin to make and use coins? People began to make coins in the area of Asia that we now know as Turkey and in China. 4.3, why did people begin to use paper money? People began to use paper money because coins were very heavy and it was dangerous to travel with too many coins. Who bought Manhattan Island from the Native Americans? The Dutch bought a Manhattan Island from the Native American. Also, they are the answers from 1 till 4. Here, you can underline it from your book according to the question. This is for number 1, this is for number 2, for number 3, and number 4. Okay, what do you do? What do you spend most of your money on? Maybe in shopping, maybe in the supermarket, maybe when you like to buy these kind of smart phones or smart things, and also clothes. قال الله تعالى وتحبون المال حبا جما. Let's talk here about reason and purpose with connectors. We want to use because, so, to, and so that. Reason and purpose with connectors, because, so, that, because, so, to, and so that. Because, so, to, and so that are connectors. They join sentences together. We go to school because we want to learn. I study to pass the exam. Be attention with me so you can understand the lesson. Listen carefully so that you can answer the exercise. We go to school because we want to learn. Be attention with me so you can understand the lesson. Reason. I study English to pass the exam. Listen carefully so that you can answer the exercise. For purpose. There is high inflation, so shops raise prices constantly. Shops raise prices constantly because there is high inflation. Here, an exercise 4a which express the same idea in two ways. Then complete each second sentence in this pair. We opened a saving account to save money for an apartment. We are saving money for an apartment. So I will complete it. So we opened a saving account. Then I want to leave early to avoid the rush hour traffic. So I want to leave early. The final one, Sam got a new job because he needed more money. And these are the answers from 1 to 6. I want to sleep early because I am really tired, so I'm going to take a short holiday. Where will you go? You can use these kind of connectors. So life doesn't require that we be the best, only that we try our best. I hope that you become filled with so much happiness that it heals every part of you. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy it. Your teacher, Arij Al-Maddah. Best wishes for everybody.